have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet.
Hey everybody. We told you last week that this week would be a video about Kai. And we have also promised that we would have videos out on Sunday morning. Well, it is after 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and we are just now starting to film this.
Wanted to give you kind of an insight on what it was like, what we did, and how it all came together.
Here we go.
So, Kai was born on Halloween, October 31st. It's crazy. It's one of those days where you're nervous, excited. You're going to get to meet the little human that you made, right?
Got to the hospital bright and early in the morning. I don't even remember. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning we had to be there. And we got all signed in, and everything was as smooth and beautiful as one could expect.
As you'll see, there's video clips in here. I was trying to vlog it because I wanted it to be on the channel. And I didn't have a camera, a dedicated camera at the time, so I only had my phone.
I requested by my lovely doctor that when he pulled out Kai, that I needed to have him hold him up and say, trick or treat, which, if you know our OB, was a fantastic request because he is the most straight-faced, calm and collected man that it just was great.
It was amazing to see my wife, giving birth to this beautiful little baby. As a father, it's surreal, you don't carry the baby, but you're there supporting, you're there doing whatever you can, right? So, it was awesome to see just her strength and how powerful she was giving birth to Kai.
They got Kai out, and because he was going to be born as a late-term preemie, they had kind of already stocked the OR with the NICU nurses as just a precaution, which obviously at this point we're super grateful they did. But they got Kai out, and he appeared to be having trouble breathing. So they did all of their normal preemie newborn test to get him to breathe, and he wasn't maintaining his oxygenation.
His oxygenation levels were only in like the 60s. So they were super concerned about that. They could never get his oxygenation levels up, so they wound up taking Kai to the NICU. And they took me out to follow them. And we showed up in the NICU, and there was a ton of nurses and doctors and people I didn't even know what they did.
We whisked him away to the NICU to what we thought at the time was to deal with premature lung development. So my baby and my husband left while I got stitched up and closed up. And then I was in the recovery room for the required hour or what have you that I had to be in the recovery suite. As soon as my time was up, I said, take me to my baby, because at that point I still hadn't seen my husband or my baby. So they rolled me down the hall, and they stopped us in the hallway to to tell us that Kai was born with a heart defect.
Called transposition of the great arteries. And as a father, you know, you start to ask yourself, like, you know, what was there anything I could have done? What happened? You know, was there a way that I could have fixed it? You know, it's hard. It's hard looking at your little guy or girl in an incubator, tied up to tubes and pipes and all kinds of crazy stuff. And
our world stopped. We weren't expecting that. Throughout my pregnancy, Kai had been monitored more than any baby I have ever known to be monitored. We had a 48-hour inpatient monitoring, and we had seen a maternal fetal medicine doctor, and nowhere along our pregnancy did we have any indication that Kai was going to be born with a heart defect.
48 hours after surgery, we were told we gotta go. And so we came home, packed up our lives, and went to Salt Lake.
And during that drive to Salt Lake, we got a phone call from the doctors in Salt Lake, and they told us that they wanted to immediately do a procedure called a septostomy.
They got him looking pink and had all the blood flow, and he was warm. And they really worked with Kai a lot. We were told that in about a week or so, they would schedule him for his switch.
In Friday, November 8th, Kai was scheduled to have his arterial switch surgery, which is an open heart surgery to correct the position of his aorta and pulmonary artery.
He came for his switch, and he was scheduled for a very long surgery, but it only wound up taking him like 4 hours to go through that surgery. And the doctors was letting us know of different things that he had, like his different coronary artery and things like that. So Kai was special in and of itself. He had a tiny little finger that we loved. We always joked that he was going to meet everybody and say, "Hi, I'm Kai. I got a little finger," you know?
We spent another 4 or 5 days post open heart surgery in the ICU. And after that, we were moved to the step-down unit to spend some time learning how to be parents and how to allow Kai to be a baby, because we had just spent the last almost 3 weeks not getting that opportunity to parent and not allowing Kai to be a baby. So after about the second day of being in the surgical unit, we were ready to go home. I was so irritated and so bored in that room. So we met with speech therapists and physical therapists and his surgeons and all kinds of people, making sure that we were in a good place to go home. So we finally got our discharge orders on November 19th? 18th. I don't know. We don't remember at this point, apparently. So we spent just short of 3 weeks being in the hospital.
It was time to go home. So we took him to a family member's house, and we spent the night there. That was probably one of the craziest nights I think I've ever had with him. I couldn't sleep So every night, every time he would make a noise, I'd like open my eyes. You're like, what are you doing? But was a really good sleeper and did really well.
Kai slept through everything. He was the chillest baby when we got him home. He was growing and healing and was doing so well. We got him home, and he was happily sleeping in his crib at night and was just such a good baby. We got 3 beautiful weeks home with Kai. We got to celebrate Thanksgiving with him, and he got to spend Thanksgiving with his family. One of our family visits, he got to put up a Christmas tree with me.
Everything really was going to plan. I was starting to return to work. We had a lot of doctor's visits and everything looked great. And so we were awaiting a very important swallow study. And so we made it through the holidays. Everything was great. Thanksgiving was amazing. And then we got into December.
We spent the week that he passed away at multiple doctor's appointments trying to get his feeding tube removed. That Tuesday, before he passed away, he had passed a swallow study. We did a barium and x-ray swallow study so that they could watch how he was handling fluids. And he passed with flying colors. And so we were so excited to finally be at the end of this journey where we didn't have a feeding tube anymore. For whatever reason, we never got the go-ahead on Tuesday or Wednesday to pull out his feeding tube. And so we were, as much as we wanted it gone, we're being the parents that were following medical recommendations.
Thursday morning, I will never forget it. Steph went and got Kai, got him up. She woke me up and told me that something's wrong with Kai, and I got up and she handed him to me, and he was shallow breath. When she handed him to me, he took 3 breaths and stopped breathing.
And Kai had aspirated as a result of his feeding tube. We called 911. The paramedics came and did their best to revive Kai here in our home. And they tried really hard, and they decided it was best to get him to the hospital.
When she got to the hospital, at this point it had been over an hour, and a lot of the doctors came out and told us that Kai was not going to make it. It wasn't looking good, is what they kept telling us. And at the end of it all, they got his heart started again. But Kai had been hit with about 22 EpiPens by the time it was over.
So they rushed him upstairs to the PICU, where we spent the next 24 hours kind of collecting ourselves for the inevitable that was going to happen. We were able to get family in town, and make some phone calls and allow people to say their goodbyes. Because although Kai's heart was beating, it wasn't beating without a lot of medication. He wasn't able to breathe on his own. So, Friday, December 13th, in the early afternoon, James and I made the decision to turn off Kai's life support. He suffered some pretty extensive brain damage as a result of lack of oxygen during the time he was down. So that afternoon, surrounded by so much love, James and I held our little boy for the last time.
It was the hardest thing that we've ever had to do in our lives. It's something that we still struggle with today. And a week later, we had Kai's funeral, and it was the most amazing and beautiful funeral that you could ever have been at. The love and support that was surrounded in that place was amazing. The amount of people who came and loved and supported us was amazing. And my favorite saying is that Kai grew a tree in his sunshine, that roots were so deep that they were worldwide.
So, as awful as it is that we don't have our boy with us anymore, his memory lives in us every day. And we wake up in the morning knowing that what we're going to do for the day, we are going to do it in a way that honors our boy. We want to make him proud and continue to live our lives to show that. We have had the most, the support, the love and support that we have been shown it's overwhelming. It has been so great and so amazing. James and I knew we were loved. My goodness, we didn't know we were loved that much. It's unreal. Still to this day, Kai's been gone almost 3 months. And still, every day something happens that I know Kai had his hands in. Whether it's somebody I meet, something that happens. It's really beautiful. So, we are continuing to live our lives. We are sharing Kai's story. We love to talk about him. We want to spread awareness of congenital heart defects. And keep telling our story. Keeping his memory alive is so important to us.
The thing that we've done is to honor Kai, and we will continue to do it. And we are so thankful that you guys are following along on this journey with us and being with us and letting us tell you about our son and tell you about our journey and what it was and what it looked like. And we just can't thank you all enough for being with us and watching this with us and listening to us in our story. So
tough and they're really rough and nothing's working,
We did it.
We did.
We told our story, and you hopefully sat and listened to it.
This is a long one, but this is one that we wanted to share with you guys. This is a video that was been requested a whole lot. People wanted to know what it was like for us, and so we wanted to give you kind of an insight on what it was and what the story is, and we hope that you guys can kind of see now what it was like.
Yeah, where we are, what our story's been, and hopefully, more importantly, where we're going. This isn't the end of our story.
It's not. And we want you guys to follow along with us and watch as we write this chapter in our lives. So
yeah, Kai's chapter was short, but man, the impact he had was unreal. So if you got to meet him, I'm so glad. If you didn't get the chance to meet him, I'm sorry. I hope that you have are in a place where you feel like you've known him, that you've gotten to know him as a result of James and I sharing him through pictures and stories and word of mouth from other people that have gotten to love him.
So we are going to get out of here.
My face is a mess. I need to go blow my nose.
Yeah, there's a lot of editing that has to be done in this video. And so we want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. We are at 78 subscribers, and
That's awesome.
We are so thankful. So please, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up. That helps us a ton, and we are so thankful that you guys are willing to watch and follow on this journey with us. Next week we'll be back to vlogging.
Maybe not something so heavy.
Not something so heavy. Vlogging, keto lifestyle. That's going to be on the channel.
Yep.
Because we are trying to lose weight, so we will take you through those journeys. Kind of like a couple of weigh-ins, let you know where we're at, and give you some tips and pointers on food and things like that, meals that we eat. So be tuned for that, or stay tuned for that, and we will see you in the next one. So like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification so that you know when we post new videos, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.